Hello, I'm here in Utah. I left Salt Lake City a little while ago, and it's beautiful. It feels really good to be here by the water. I passed a lot of water on this trip, and just thinking how all those drops of water were right there in the Cannonball River too, and up here in the sky is clouds. And it's just always flowing, just like life is always going, just like we're always breathing. It's always going forward, just like time, you know? It's always changing. I've been listening to podcasts about history, and there's a lot that, we never learned in school that's so relevant and helpful to know now. So I'm just reflecting on that, and how this movement right now feels so exciting and so new, like, oh, this has never happened before, but really, okay, it hasn't happened in 30 years or something, maybe 50, but really, that's not a long time in history. And so it's interesting just thinking about how societies always ebb and flow and change, and we look at it through the lens of history. 100 years is a very short time, but yet when we're here in this moment and living our lives, it feels like, oh my gosh, how can everything change so drastically? How can this country be changing so quickly and in such profound ways within a few months of this new presidency? And at the same time, listening to different podcasts about revolutions, talking about like France and Gran Colombia, and just realizing like this stuff has always been happening. It's never stopped. Empires rise and they fall, and dictators come and they go, and it's just all part of the way that things go, and that continually seems like these same values come to a head. Listening to this piece saying that, at one point the people living in what's now Venezuela were feeling like the laws were geared to help the elite of Bogota and not them, not the people. I'm like, oh, that's the same thing now. We call it the 1%. And so these are old traditions that have happened, and it seems like every once in a while the people have to come together and wake up and overthrow the leaders to an extent. And yet what tends to happen is that those very leaders then kind of take on those same traits that they were resisting against. And we kind of saw, some of that happening in the Standing Rock movement, how certain people were, engaging in greed and exploitation, the very values that we were standing up against in terms of the oil industry. So that was just interesting to think about. And we'll play some flip for you, because it's really calm, except for the little dog's barking. He just wants to play. Oops. Well, I'll make another video just playing.